Mangwanani Malelepo Vukenjani Krekpas Manave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Bedi and Glenn Orashipura. How are you, Glenn?
I'm doing well. Wapendukavi?
I
thought we agreed about this.
Ready. You brought the Osheredo, I had the Oshwambo ready, and you're going to learn today.
Okay, we'll learn today.
Decentralizing Namibian languages.
That's good to hear. Well, moving on, let's take a look at what you can expect in today's broadcast. Eswatini gears up for democratic elections with no parties and an absolute monarch. Burkina Faso's transitional government claims foiled attempted coup. 56,000 Pakistan schools shut over eye virus outbreak will also be crossing over to Zambia. Speaking to our correspondent Mike Sichula, who will be filling us in on the news making waves there. Do stay tuned. Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch stays in this in a speech, rate in taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather, and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
Getting straight into our top stories, Eswatini will vote to elect parliamentarians in the last absolute monarchy in Africa. Government authorities say it will be an opportunity to vote for the Swati people's ideal government and preferred system of governance. Prime Minister Cleopas Sipos Lamini said the elections were the greatest stage for the people of Eswatini to decide their future leadership. He said what the voting exercise means is that people should vote for the candidates that they want, because 2 years ago, this is what people were calling for, to vote for who they want and the government they want. This is an opportunity for Amaswati to speak through their votes, he said on Tuesday during the special voting day, an equivalent of the postal vote in other countries. Those who voted on the day were servicemen or people who would be on national duty come election day. Lamini said the huge turnout on the special voting day proved that the Amaswati took their elections seriously. The Southern African Development Community Electoral Observation Mission to Eswatini is led by Enoch Kavindele, a former Zambian vice president. The mission comprises 47 personnel, these being from 8 SADC member states, namely the republics of Angola, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and the United Republic of Tanzania. Now, the African Union's Observer Mission to Eswatini falls under the leadership of Bankole Adeoye, the Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security in the AU.
In our next story, Burkina Faso's transitional government claimed on Wednesday evening to have foiled an attempted coup d'etat the previous day, almost a year after Captain Ibrahim Traore came to power in a putsch. In a statement broadcast on national television, the government informs public opinion that a proven coup attempt was foiled on September 26, 2023 by Burkina Faso's intelligence and security services. At present, officers and other alleged actors involved in this destabilization attempt have been arrested and others are being actively sought, continues the government, which deplores the fact that the perpetrators of this attempted putsch had the dark intention of attacking the institutions of the republic and plunging the country into chaos. Now, on Tuesday evening, thousands of people took to the streets of the capital, Ouagadougou, in response to a call from supporters of Captain Traore to defend him in the face of rumors of a putsch that were circulating on social networks.
Now, more than 56,000 Pakistani schools will shut for the rest of the week in a bid to curb a mass outbreak of a contagious eye virus, officials said on Wednesday. Millions of students will stay home from tomorrow after Punjab, Pakistan's most populous province, announced blanket closures, having recorded 357,000 conjunctivitis cases since the start of the year. The fast-spreading eye infection causes redness, itchiness, and discharge from the eyes, and contamination can spread through hand contact, as well as coughing and sneezing.
Soldiers have been evacuated from an army base in northern Mali following an attack by gunmen, the nation's military has said. Mali's troops repelled the assailants at Acharane, an area near the ancient city of Timbuktu. A statement read, "It is not yet clear if the gunmen were Islamist militants or Tuareg rebels. Both groups have increased their attacks in recent weeks at a time when UN peacekeepers are pulling out of the country after being told to leave by Mali's military rulers. In 2013, the UN launched a mission after separatist rebels and Islamist fighters banded together and occupied northern Mali. They helped to create a separate state. The UN peacekeepers arrived after 5,000 French troops who were sent to try and put down the uprising. The threat from Islamist militants who have killed several thousands of people and forced tens of thousands from their homes has continued over the years.
Now, 2 consecutive years of extreme warming in the Alps have obliterated 10% of Swiss glacier volume, the same amount lost in the 3 decades prior to 1990, a report revealed on Thursday. Amid growing concerns over the dire toll of climate change, the study by the Cryospheric Commission of the Swiss Academy of Sciences showed a dramatic glacial retreat and warned the situation would only get worse. Swiss glaciers are melting at a rapidly increasing rate, is said in a statement. 2022 marked the worst year on record for glacier melt in the Swiss Alps, with 6% of the total ice volume lost. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we're joined by Mike Sichula in Zambia.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Now, we will shortly be joined by Mike Sichula in Zambia, but just prior to that, let's dive quickly into the economic news stories. South Africa recorded foreign direct investment inflows of 53.8 billion rand in the second quarter of 2023, up from inflows of 0.5 billion rand in the first quarter, central bank data showed on Thursday. The South African Reserve Bank said in its quarterly bulletin that the acquisition of a domestic beverage company by a non-resident firm contributed to the increase. Heineken said in April that it had completed the purchase of wine and cider company Distel. Second quarter portfolio investment outflows fell to 4.6 billion rand from 32 billion rand in the previous quarter, the quarterly bulletin said.
Now, the Mozambican economy, boosted by the liquefied natural gas projects, may grow by 7% for the first time in 8 years, according to the Minister of Economy and Finance, Max Tonela. Now cited in Wednesday's issue of the Maputo Daily Noticias, Tonela revised the initial growth forecast for this year from 5 to 7%. He claimed that without the LNG projects, economic growth should reach 4.2%, 1% above the projection forecast in 2022. These numbers, he said, show that the economy is recovering positively. Tonela believed that in the short term, it will continue to grow at an average of 5 to 7% a year. According to Tonela, it is expected that the gross domestic product will grow, supported by various sectors, including agriculture, the extractive industry, the hotel business, and transport and communications.
All right, those have been our economic news stories. Now, a man in Lusaka was locked up with the lights off in a morgue. Mike Sichula joins us shortly after the economic indicators. All right, it's time for us to cross over to Zambia and have a conversation with Mike Sichula about the news stories on the ground. The first story is rather morbid. Mike, if you could introduce it.
Yes. So the victim identified as Chanda Musonda, who was nursing his wife in a ward, says the incident occurred around 01 hours on 21st September 2023. So he says he was only chatting with his wife when a nurse called security personnel and they manhandled him and was pushed into the mortuary. Then the doors locked and lights were switched off. We can listen to him as he narrates his story.
And you see, the worst part was when we arrived at the mortuary there. When we entered, they switched on all the lights to let me see all those dead bodies. After they threw me in and locked me in there, I don't know if the switch is from the outside mortuary or what. Suddenly all the lights went off and I remained in the dark there. Seated on the floor, kneeling to the thing, to the door.
So that is his story. So according to him, he was emotionally mistreated, and he has therefore called on management to intervene in this matter so that those who punished him by that manner should be investigated and probably should be punished. And the hospital management has also confirmed having received a complaint saying investigations have since been instituted in this matter. It's a rare case that you have to get from a hospital treating somebody who's been misbehaving in a ward like that.
It sounds truly horrific. I can't imagine going through something like that.
I mean, depending on his background, I know Zambia is definitely a Christian nation, but if he has any African roots, there's going to be cleansing ceremony upon cleansing ceremony after that.
Well, moving over to our next story. A cross-section of society has criticized Zambia's Chief Justice Mumba Malila for supporting LGBTQ rights. Can you get into this?
Wow, as you know, it is a crime in Zambia to practice gayism and everything that has to do with it. So the Chief Justice was invited at a university for a public talk. So it was during that time that he responded saying that gay persons their rights must be respected. And this that is the headline there that has caused a lot of comments of various sections of society. However, a good number of judges have supported him, but he later came and defended himself, saying what he said was that he did not say that gay people who practice gayism must be respected, but he said that people who, regardless of what they are practicing, they have rights that must be respected, rights to water, rights to association, and just rights to anything, like anyone who has not committed a crime. So that is what he has said. But however, this statement has not sat well with a cross-section of society. Some of them who are calling for him to resign, some of them who are saying if he is behaving in such a manner, then it is highly unlikely that he can rule against people who practice gayism once such people are brought before the courts of law. So we are yet to see what will be happening. But over 15 judges have supported Dr. Malila's position on gay rights in Zambia, but it is something that has not gone down well, even with the governing party.
Yes, because it's always a difficult line to traverse. You know, on one end, people being gay is illegal in Zambia, or practicing gayism, as you say, it is illegal in Zambia. But then there's the constitutional rights, which, you know, protect everybody's well-being regardless of their orientation. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. I do remember Namibia's Minister of Justice dealing with a similar conversation. I wonder if any phone calls will be made across the border. Let's move over to your next story. The government has approved a bioethanol blending program in an effort to lower fuel costs. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this was discussed during a latest cabinet meeting and it is in the interest of the government to cushion the country against fluctuation in the international oil prices so as to enhance security of supply fuel in the country. So with the government has opened up this sector. They are calling upon oil marketing companies that have got the capacity to engage in a pilot program for the next 6 months, during which they will see whether this program can work or not. However, also oil marketing companies have called on the government to see to it that a bioethanol laboratory is set up in the country so that they understand how this can be done, and also that the quality of the blending fuel should be something that will not have a negative effect on the environment as well as the users of this fuel. So from these comments, it is likely, and it is most likely that this project may take a little bit more longer than the 6 months that government is saying this project should be piloted, because it looks issues of the bio laboratory may not be there on a commercial basis. So it is something that people who are in charge of this project have to go back and see how it can come back more effectively and address what they want to do in terms of reducing the price of fuel.
Now, in your last story, a two-bedroom house has been given to Commonwealth gold medalist Muzala Samukonga as a means of motivating him. Can you get into this?
So Muzala Samukonga is one of Zambia's best sprinters. He's won a gold medal at the latest Commonwealth, and he was also at some point he was the fastest man in terms of 400 meters. So now government, in terms of you remember, like last week I did say that government is introducing a policy to ensure that all sports disciplines are given motivation. So this is one of the motivations that the government has facilitated through a private company, Heritage Construction Limited. So they have given him this house, and they have also called on other corporate world to come on board and motivate Zambians who are excelling in sports across Africa and across the globe. So this house is situated in one of the upcoming communities in Lusaka, in Lelai area, and it is something that he, Muzala, has commended the financiers and also has praised government, and he is also called on government to ensure that other athletes before him who have done exploits for Zambia are also motivated in a similar manner.
Truly essential and a wonderful gesture from the government. Thank you, Mike, for bringing us the news stories from Zambia.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning. Do have a lovely weekend.
We certainly hope to do so. Now, if you happen to enjoy world football from 1993 to 2018, you would have known that Barcelona was one of the most dominant clubs. What if you were told that they were allegedly paying off referees for that entire time? What would that do to the GOAT debate when it comes to Lionel Messi and Ronaldo, particularly because then it would mean Messi had some help from the referees? Let's talk more about that story after the break in sports. Spanish soccer club Barcelona are under investigation for suspected active bribery as part of a probe into suspected corruption spanning 2 decades at the refereeing committee, according to a court document seen by Reuters on Thursday. Now, in March, prosecutors filed a complaint over alleged payments of more than 7.3 million euros over 17 years to firms owned by Jose Maria Enriquez Negreira, who was vice president of the RFEF's refereeing committee from 1993 to 2018. Barcelona has denied any wrongdoing, and I'd just like to say that during that period of time there was a very suspect win of Barcelona in the Champions League. If that trophy could be delivered to Arsenal, I'd be very happy.
We certainly hope so. Now moving on, Novak Djokovic has won 3 out of 4 Grand Slams in 2023 and has no plans of slowing down at 36. But the world number 1 believes the future of tennis is in good hands, with young gun Carlos Alcaraz leading the way. Now Djokovic hopes of winning all 4 Grand Slam titles in the calendar year, where dash at Wimbledon, where he was beaten in 5 sets by the 20-year-old Alcaraz, with the result being hailed as the changing of the guard in men's tennis.
And briefly in golf, PGA Tour said its planned merger with Saudi-backed Live Golf and DP World Tour has garnered unsolicited interest from investors as it continues to finalize an agreement with the Public Investment Fund and the DP World Tour. It's still rugby season. The Valviches are on their way home, but African hopes stay alive with South Africa facing Italy tonight. Here's Ari Hohad with the latest from France.
Section and its international sport related to World Cup Rugby 2023. Namibia played their 4th and final game of the Rugby World Cup. Behind me, the stadium in Lyon where it all happened. Namibia played against Uruguay. A tough game for Namibia to lose. It was very competitive, losing 36 points to 26 after leading halftime, and also not helped with a few red cards, a few yellow cards, and also a red card in the second half. In the end, Uruguay winning that game, and the red cards from Desiderio Setti, he's the reserve prop, and that disciplinary hearing is yet to take place, so we don't know the sanction yet for him. We also spoke to Richard Hardwick. He's the 8th man for the Namibian team, and he just told us how the battle up front was and just his thoughts on the game against Uruguay.
No, they were great. We knew that they were going to be physical at the breakdown. They were going to be strong at the scrums, the lineouts, more. We had a good plan, and I think we just missed a couple of opportunities. The boys fought really hard. There's a few times that we got some technical penalties coming off the feet, but the intent was there. We were really trying to get it in their face, clean the breakdown. They had some unbelievable poachers, so we knew what the challenge was. I think we just got it wrong a couple of times, but look, it was a great challenge. I love going against the best in the world, and they're in flying form, and we did really well until the discipline really hurt us in the end. But that's what we need to grow as a team and a country.
So that.
All right, let's get into the highlights from this morning's broadcast. Eswatini gears up for democratic elections with no parties and an absolute monarch. Burkina Faso's transitional government claims foiled attempted coup. 56,000 Pakistan schools shut over eye virus outbreak. And South Africa's foreign direct investment inflows rise to $2.8 billion in the second quarter.
And with that, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Thank you for joining us all week and tuning in to Africa Good Morning. I am Glenda Rashipura.
And I am Ashwin Berry. Suraj Lakanaka.